Okay, back with the Epidiascope one final time. First I'm going to test it without cleaning the lens. I just want to see what a difference it makes giving this lens a clean or not. I will get these spiders off though. Spider skeletons off. But yeah, then I'll put this in and yep, you can see that the little knob fits in perfectly. So that's good. And yeah, give it a little test. The first thing to do is to install the lenses, the internal lenses again. It's great the screen turns out to be useful after all. We shall see what good comes from, oh, this is supposed to be, look, there we go, the daylight screen. Now, the moment of truth. Let's see what happens when I turn it on. Nothing, because it's not on. I've got to turn the extension cord on first. Now, the second moment of truth, where hopefully there will be some truth this time. I know it works anyway. Oh look! Oh my goodness, it is... I have a feeling I have no hope of focusing this. Because... is this designed for something, for a much bigger haul or something? It's also upside down. So I think you have to put the slides the other way around. Oh well. It certainly projects though. But yeah, it does not focus here. Oh well, I'm going to move it further back and we'll see what... This is the best I can do, which is not particularly great. I suppose the... well, actually, you want to see? The projector is all the way over here. But I think this is for big auditoriums and all that, and halls. Because, yeah... even at this distance, I can't really get it to focus very well. And of course it's for a much bigger screen than this. Let's try some objects. Because remember, this is not just a slide projector. If we flick that switch over into the light, let's put in a postcard. There we go. Let's see if I can get it to focus. I'm going to try and get that out of the way. Oh well, I think, because I don't want to stab my postcard. And now with some adjusting, this is the picture I get. It's not particularly bright, so the lens needs cleaning, so that might help with both the focus and the brightness. And I can imagine another problem is that these light globes I'm using may not actually be as bright as the original ones, because yeah, this thing has a really noisy fan and all that in it. So I can imagine it would have some very bright light globes. And because they're LED, because filament bulbs, and again, Technology Connections on one of his headlights videos talked about this, how the lenses will be focused for the filament to be in a certain location, potentially, whereas the LEDs are in a completely different spot and they've got a diffused light. See, that could be part of the problem, but it does work somewhat. And now we'll try, this is a postcard, we'll try an object. And you can see through the blue glass this somewhat alien looking thing, but again, back into the light. The great thing is, because I'm using LEDs, this thing does not get, it's not burning hot or anything, and there's no extremely obnoxious loud motor running. But let's see, this is that weird clock I've got that only has sort of half a hand, you can see. It's got discs instead of hands. Otherwise it's just a conventional clock, but yeah, it doesn't look that impressive at all. Everything's all zoomed in because again this projector screen is smaller than what you'd need at this sort of distance for this sort of projector. Again, auditorium projector, but it does work. Anyway, I'll give the lens a clean and we'll see how it works later. So here I am with the focusing lens from the C. Baker Epidiascope, and it's time to give it a bit of a clean. Now, I've got a lens spanner wrench here, which I've already unscrewed, as you can see. It's a handy tool. This one's just a cheap one off eBay. Why it's called a spanner wrench, I don't know. That's how I found it. But again, it's a cheap one and it's rather wobbly, which is a little annoying. But it's not like you can do this with anything else. And there are fancier ones which are much more expensive, but it's not worth it for the little stuff I do. But here, I think it should be quite easy. It does go right to the edge almost. At least here, you've got this ring, this stuff to hold it in place. And here we go. I need to be more careful because these will chip the lens and scratch the lens. Although this lens is not in perfect shape anyway. It's in about the same condition as the rest of the unit. But this is coming out quite nicely. This little ring. Just that, yeah, actually, I thought this would make it easier, but it actually makes it somewhat harder to get them to fit in. You know what, let's see if I can just use one as a sort of screwdriver. I sort of completely forgot. No, with a ring like that. This is not going so well, is it? The idea is to not wreck the lens, but normally, yeah, you'll use this to loosen it up and then use a screwdriver to just spin it around nice and easily. But this ring is so big and so stiff from dirt and all that. I suppose maybe I could have tried cleaning that out, but again, it's so deep in there. It's not very easy to get to. Oh well, so much for a nice little easy job. I'm actually surprised I didn't just scratch it when I dropped it on the... Yeah, as I said, these things are cheap units. Not particularly good. And the way I have to keep adjusting it because... Actually, I can see the problem. It is because this rim here is right in the way, and so I don't get much grip. Let's see if it's loose now. Oh well, I'm going to slip. Oh, there we go. Whatever was keeping it. No, it's still not loose enough to just spin it out. Oh well. here we go. Here is the brass ring. And put it over there. I'm going to have to put these, and then this lovely, okay. Lovely big lens. You can see there's a mark. That's not from me, that was already on this. We'll see if it comes off. Yep, a lovely big piece of glass. And you can see a lot of dust on the end and some spots on the end. Some of those spots, I wonder if this is one piece. It looks like a piece of glass, but anyway, there we go. I'm going to put this in order, so, you know what, there. So we're going to go 1, 2. Now there is a huge space in here. Don't tell me that unscrews. No, I don't think it does. It unscrews from back here. And this is the back element. So we remove the first element of the lens, and now this is the oh, that is very stiff. No, I do not like that. Let's see. That is very stiff. Here we go, and there we go, and there we don't. Looks like someone else had trouble with this one too. Oh, there's actually a chip in one of them. That's the inner ring. So the middle element. Anyway, let's see what I can do. There is a substance that comes to mind. And these aren't coated lenses, because this will be, I'm guessing this thing's from the 30s or something. So these won't be coated. No, they don't look coated because they're not purple or gold tinted, they're just clear glass. So there's not really anything to get damaged, so I know what I'll be using. Well, at least trying. Okay, so I've just picked up some stuff. I've got some 3-in-1 oil, which I might try. But first, we've got to use this. Makes its second appearance. Now, let's see. I just want a very little amount. I'll use this to mop it up. Just around here. Now, don't do this in your fancy camera lenses or anything. Because this is just... This is not for your fancy camera lenses. This is a very simple projector lens, very basic design, and most importantly, no coatings, no plastics, nothing like that. So nothing really very delicate at all. But I won't leave it on the glass for very long either. But I doubt it does any harm. You know what, while we're here, may as well give this bit of glass, actually no, look at this glass, a clean. The first element. Got microfiber cloth. Rather worn, but it'll do the job. I'm going to use alcohol. I could have just used water like I did last time, but I want to give this thing a nice shine. For some reason I care about this lens more than all the others. Well, I can't just clean this one again. The other ones are much easier to... Well, I can, but the other ones are much easier to get to. And funny enough, the alcohol isn't doing much on these little spots. Everything else is doing a pretty good job on. They're not in the glass. I don't think that. No, they're not. It's something. It's on top of the glass. It's not like something's chipped or eaten into the glass. So I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Just use a fingernail. Again, no coatings, no worries. It's got some spots on it. I don't know if that's the beginning of fungus or something, but not anymore. I actually have a lens cleaning cloth in here. May as well use it. I don't want to use it to clean them at the start because I don't want to get this cloth dirty because it's for cleaning my nice camera lenses. Although I've already got it dirty from cleaning all sorts of old cameras. But yeah, that's looking a lot better. Very nice. That's one lens for the most part, nice and clean. Just get some of that dirt off. And I'll give them another clean just before I put it all back together. Anyway, let's see if the CUD 40 has made any difference to this. It may have. Tell you, if this thing is threaded backwards, I'm going to... Nah, I really doubt that. Oh, there we go. Looks like the CUD 40 may have made a difference. It's going on. Well, this is also... I would expect this to be smoother because this did not face outside. This was facing into the projector. That said, the projector was filthy on the inside and the outside, so... Not sure it'd be that much of a difference. There we go. Now I'll give this ring a wipe with alcohol to get it nice and clean. And I'll put it there as the last part. Now we have this lens. Oh, and it's also important to remember which way the convex bit is. The convex part sticking out here, and on the front lens again, it was also the convex side sticking out as opposed to the flat side. I've got one more lens. Oh, it's a concave lens. I don't actually know that much about lens construction. I'm probably not even going to bother getting that out. It's too much of a risk of slipping and damaging it, especially this one, especially because it's got a chip there. The last thing I want to do is accidentally crack it, because I'm not going to be able to get to lenses like this. So again, first I'll go with the alcohol because there's some marks on it. Just get do the same on this side, and just I'm going to give a clean to the whole thing because the inside is quite dusty. Right now, I can also give a clean to the grooves here for the threads. Oh, and yeah, they look somewhat damaged. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but you can see they look rather rough, some of these. Some look, yeah, it looks a bit rough. So that will pose problems. So I've given the grooves a bit of clean, given this a bit of a clean, and I've noticed there's dust right along the edge in there, and I'm just going to use one of these cotton tips again with alcohol. Too much alcohol, and hopefully I can get in there and just really clean it out. Although, as you can see, because of the rough paintwork, it just picks up the fibres. So I have to, yeah, it is a very rough paintwork. Again, that is intentional. I've got this fancy lens cleaner that came complimentary with some glasses at some point. I'm going to give it a spray and we'll see if it does any better. If it does some sort of streak-free magic. There we go. And I'll give the other side a clean too. Just about everywhere, but so there we go. Probably didn't focus on that, but there. And now we've got one more. So I'll start with the alcohol again, because this is the one that has some marks on it that I thought might be, I don't know, but they're like some, they almost look like crayon or something. Anyway, and they're almost completely gone, but they're sort of pinky red scrapes, but they're sort of waxy and they could scrape off. So there we go. And then this side, again, rather dirty, so let's give that a clean. There we go. That looks pretty good already. A spray of the magic alcohol-free stuff. Yeah, this stuff's great. Probably causes cancer. Let me just get the last of those marks off. No, I'm sure it doesn't cause cancer. Are those dots? No, they might be bubbles, because they're not on the surface. They might be very small bubbles. But no, this clean, that is beautiful. I like that. So actually, yeah. Whoever makes this complimentary chemical spray for cleaning your glasses, they do a good job. Of course, I don't know who actually makes it because it's just a complimentary. That one's still got some marks. Well, that's probably my fault. I didn't do a very good job. on that, so I'll give this another. The problem is, oh, I think it is on this side. I can't tell. Yeah, I've made some marks on it, so let's just do another like that. The dust off. Oh, I think we might be dealing with more things in the glass. Or maybe they are on this. I think they are on this side. Of course, again, I think I said there was some little tiny chips or other faults in this glass. Well, there goes one. That was not a chip. Yep, I think that's good. So time to put it all back together. Well, put this one back together. Some marks. Oh, that? No, there we go. In the end, I can live with a little dust. Especially if it's on the outside. It's not much of a problem at all. Oh, I just realised. I don't think I cleaned that at all. Oh, that's a much easier one. Did I? I don't remember if I cleaned this area, because remember I put the Cud 40 in here and I don't want to leave the Cud 40 in here. So let's just give it a quick clean. Don't want to leave Cud 40 residue in. Now I have to give that a clean because I probably knocked all this dust onto it. I'm going to get something else. Well, I just had to quickly get my lipstick, and as you can see, it is moustache flavour. Now, this is actually a camera lens brush, which is in this very handy little case. And, of course, I think this thing is German. Yep, it's German, of course it is. And I can just brush the dust off now, instead of hitting it with this, instead of rubbing it all over the place with a cloth. It's a very handy thing, especially to take when you're out and about. Although it is probably also very easy to lose, but it is quite neat because you can just have it in your bag or pocket or something. I just keep it in the bag, and then you can, you know, it's protected. It doesn't get wrecked. Although, sometimes the Bristol does get caught in the mechanism. But yeah, just a cool little Evers brand, whatever that was, brush. Anyway, that's clean enough. And there's still a mark from the crayon stuff. This time, well, yeah, that's much better than dropping the thing in. And then the lens ring. Which first do the trick of turning it back until it clicks, and there we go. And now I can just move this in with my fingers, and then just one of these. Ideally you just use a screwdriver, but I'm not going to go get one because that would require me to take another break. Besides, I think because these are so big, they're immediately going to jam if I don't get them a... Ah, that's going so well. Now, I don't think I've cleaned the front element yet, so I'll have to clean that after I put it in. I can probably still use a fingernail. There we go. Actually easier. I should just get screwdriver pointed fingernails. No, that would not make anything easier. There we go. Now I'll just tighten it so I don't have a lens rattling, because the front one was actually loose. So I don't know why it was loose. I wonder, because that was still tight. I wonder if... Right, there we go. No rattles. Perfect. Now, I gave this a clean with the alcohol, but not with the magical spray. I think that looks good. So, I'll get my cloth again so I don't get fingerprints on the thing I just cleaned. Although I'd say you're better off getting fingerprints on, if you think you're going to drop it or something, just grab onto it. You're better off getting fingerprints and not smashing it than avoiding your getting fingerprints on it and cracking it all into pieces. Yeah, there's still a few little spots on it. Oh, that annoys me. I'll do another clean with the alcohol, because, well, it's not going to cause any problems. Even if it is fungus, the stuff's going to be definitely dead at this point, but it just annoys me that it's going to have these little inconsequential spots on it. Still got the spots. Oh well, they're probably stuck in there somehow. There we go. I'll put that in. You know what, let's go again to like, there's a click. Oh, there, isn't it just thrilling? Man, he's so lazy he uses fingernails rather than going and grabbing a screwdriver. I suppose the fingernails are less likely to damage the lens, eh? So I suppose that's an advantage. But that said, yeah, when talking about using fingernails as screwdrivers, I once used my fingernail as a screwdriver on a tram because there was a brass slotted screw in the windowsill. It was a wooden windowsill, and the screw was sticking out a little bit, and it just annoyed me so much that I got my fingernail and screwed the screw back into the timber. It wasn't that far, and screwed it. I destroyed my nail in the process, but the screw was in a little bit better after that, so I was much happier. Oh my, so ridiculous. Anyway, here we are. That certainly is tight. Oh. Doesn't rattle like it did before, so there we go. It's improved. It has been improved. That is very good. Anyway, I'll put this back in and screw the little handle back in. Now the slides themselves aren't perfect either, so I'm going to give them I like going over with a little bit of this sprayed onto a cloth very carefully. I don't want to accidentally wreck them. It shouldn't go into them, but again, only over the slide area, avoiding the tape, because the last thing I want to do is accidentally sort of dismantle these slides. This one looks somewhat worse than the other one. it's got some damage to the paper, to the thin paper edging, and there's some dirt on the slide. Well, some large spots of dirt, whereas the other one is only somewhat slightly dirty. But there we go. To look clearer. They're very lovely slides. I might have to look into making my own for this projector since I've got it now. I do wonder how that would go. I'm actually going to go over with this one with a bit of alcohol because it has some of those marks on it like the lens did. So we'll see if this can clean it up better. The one problem is, and that's one of the reasons I'm avoiding it, the stuff getting into the inside. There's not much you can do about that. And actually, I noticed this. At first I was thinking this was sky or something, but no, it's dirt. So let's see if I can get it off with the alcohol. Looking a little clearer. It looks like dirt from tape. Someone put tape on it at some point. Maybe it had a different mount. Or maybe someone repaired the mount, but not very well. But yep, now the sky is looking much clearer. So, we're in the backyard at night, because I don't own a theatre, cinema or auditorium, to test out the Epidiascope. Now if I can just turn it on, it comes to life, and when we get it to zoom, we can... So here it is. I've managed to get the camera to focus, and you can see the picture is all right. Dim, but somewhat clear. I've managed to sort of focus it. Again, it's pretty clear that this is designed for potentially even larger spaces, and again, you can see that that's just the center of the image. There's a lot more that's chopped off the edge because this is designed for a huge screen. And if we go over to the next picture, the next slide, again, you can see that it's only the center of the slide. The rest is all cropped off because it turns out that just a random blanket pegged up is not big enough for a slide projector designed for, again, huge spaces. But yep, it definitely works. And let's swap over to... Oh, there's not much there, is there? Let's see. I put a paper in there, and there we go, the light. I would have thought it would get something, but it might be that these lights are just so dim compared to what this is supposed to work with. Because it did work inside when I tested it with this. But there's something. Actually, let's have a look. It's there. And you can see my lens. I cleaned it and it's still so dirty. Although, oh, you know what? Now that I think about it, the lens, it isn't the lens, it's the mirror. So that's part of the problem. I'll have to clean that mirror at some point. I completely forgot about it. Anyway, there's a quick test, and you can see it is working. It's working pretty well. I just need to buy a disused cinema. Anyway, there you go. Oh, and the switch. It's oh, now it works fine. No, it's got its delay back again. But yeah, that's the Epidiascope. Well, no wonder it performs terribly as an Episcope, because look how foggy that mirror is. Oh well, I'll give it a clean and it'll actually work then, maybe. So, a little update during editing. I did a bit more research on the Epidiascope, and I found an eBay listing that shows one which still has one of its original bulbs. And this explains why it has the rotating fitting for the right lamp. The original bulbs have this mirror coating, or this reflective coating, on the light bulb on one side, and that means you need to turn it to send the light where you want it when you change from Diascope to Epidiascope and vice versa. So that explains that little mystery.